Mazin Al Eshaiker is chairman of the Injah Development Center. He joins me live from Baghdad to discuss the milestone. Mazin, what does a victory in Mosul really mean symbolically as well as strategically?
Symbolically, it was the capital of the Islamic State that they formed. But really, there is still ISIS in 3 other towns in Iraq. One of them is Hawija, next to the oil-rich city of Kirkuk. The other one is Tel Afar, west of Mosul on the Syrian border. And the third place is Al-Qa'im in the Anbar province. The problem is not defeating ISIS militarily. We have to defeat the mindset of ISIS. The mindset of ISIS remains in Iraq. Even in Baghdad, there are people who think in terms of ISIS.
So how do you do that, Mazin? How do you change the mindset?
You know what I say? Smart people learn from other people's mistakes. You know, Europe had this war 5 centuries ago. What was it called? The 30-year War, where Catholics and Protestants killed each other. 5-6 million people their heads were chopped off. Iraq and Syria and the whole Islamic region should not fall into that trap of another Sunni Shia civil war. We should learn from European mistakes, which is sectarianism, to go into a secular government. Most of these countries of the region should switch into a secular government in order to avoid the rampant of another civil war that we saw in Mosul, Syria, and Libya, and Yemen, and Bahrain, and so on.
So let me talk about some of the difficult challenges that are ahead. Hospitals, schools, homes, bridges, entire neighborhoods have been wiped out. Nearly 1 million people have been displaced. Many, many civilians have lost their lives. Where do you begin this process?
Well, to be exact, it was 41,000 between civilians and military Iraqis who died since ISIS came in 3 years ago. So, you know, we have martyrs, we have widows, we have orphans, as well as the rubble. You know, the cities that ISIS left are left in rubble. They need, like you said, the services, the infrastructure. Unfortunately, the Iraqi government is not in a good financial situation. Iraq is in debt, $120 billion, and still seeking for more loans. So the country is sinking in debt. There is oil prices continue to drop down, and obviously corruption. Iraq is remaining the 3rd or 4th most corrupt country in the world. Since the current prime minister took office, not a single person served a single day, not a single hour behind bars for the corruption, the $312 billion that were stolen from the Iraqi budget. So you have to fight corruption, you have to seek assistance from international organizations, and giant international companies need to come in to rebuild the roads, the bridges, the hospitals. It's in shambles. The whole Mosul, Anbar, even parts of Baghdad, and most of the south is in shambles.
And another problem is that the fate of this ISIS leader, Bakr al Baghdadi, no one knows where he is. Do you think that really matters at this point?
Not anymore. He could be holed up in one of the underground cells that, you know, similar to Saddam. Actually, some of the ISIS fighters still holed up in Mosul are using the sewer systems to hide. So, you know, he'll end up in a bridge somewhere, under a bridge somewhere. It is not as important as cleansing the mindset. You know, a week ago, a certain Iraqi with long hair was killed with a brick because he had long hair. So the mindset of ISIS still remains. And this is right here in Baghdad. So people still think in those terms, where you kill a gay person or you kill a woman for not wearing the hijab, the veil. So the mindset still is all around the country. Militarily, ISIS has been defeated, but we need to defeat the ISIS mentality, the corruption, the rampant bribery everywhere in all government offices.
And Mazin, very quickly, talk about the importance of coalition troops. How involved should they be in rebuilding Iraq, Mosul especially?
Well, initially, if it weren't for the international forces, Mosul would still be occupied. During the Trump administration, they created this war of attrition. But thank God for the Trump administration, which has the political will, as well as the Iranians and the Russians and the Chinese, They all have the political will to help the Iraqis fight terrorism. Now, definitely Iraq needs international help financially and technically to rebuild the destroyed cities that ISIS left.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Mazin Al Eshaiker, thank you, sir, for your time.